show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good afternoon. Peter, here. I would like to welcome everyone to the iBlind Users Group or iBUG meeting for Saturday, the 24th of September, 2022. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful autumn afternoon. This meeting is being recorded. We have a jam-packed, informative meeting planned for today. We will first review some iBUG announcements and some recent Apple news and rumors. Then, Greg, Herbie, and Sandhire will review the newest features in iOS 16. Finally, we will spend any remaining time to answer questions you may have. I would now like to turn the meeting over to the Ladybug herself, Sandhire Rao. Ready to go, Ladybug?
Yes, I'm ready to go. Welcome, everybody. This is the iBUG Apple Workshop. Like Peter said, it is September 24th, the beginning of fall. And we're happy that you joined us. And we have a lot to get through. So the first thing I want to do, we like to have introductions. And the question for today is, it's simple, yes or no. Okay, yes or no. Have you ever sent a message or email and wished that you hadn't and wish you could get it back? So we're going to go around, say who you are, where you're from, and answer the question. Hold on. All right. Who wants to go first?
Anna from Colorado, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Julie from Ventura, no.
Okay, thank you.
Debbie from
Carolyn.
Georgia, no.
Okay,
Carolyn Peters from Ohio, yes.
thank you.
Herbie in Houston, yes.
Welcome.
Heather from Montreal, no, fortunately.
Thank you, Heather. Welcome.
Misty Hagan from New Jersey, no.
Thank you. Welcome, Misty.
This is Gail or Gigi from Houston, yes.
Okay, thank you.
David from Berkeley, yes.
Okay.
Julie Robinson from Georgia, yes.
All right, thank you.
Dan from San Diego, no.
Thank you, Dan. Welcome.
Greg in Texas, yes.
Welcome, Greg. Anybody else?
Pat McPherson, Ohio, yes.
Okay, thank you, Pat.
Denise Collins, Texas, yes.
Okay, thank you, Denise. Okay, who else?
Candace from Virginia, yeah.
Wow, yes. Okay, says with experience. Okay.
Linda Bluford from Ohio, no.
All right, thank you.
Ned from Texas, no.
Oh, wow. Okay, good job, Ned. Okay, next.
Dana, Ohio, yes.
Thank you, Dana. Welcome.
Carla from the UK, yes, but fortunately my work security saved me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Carla. Welcome. Who else we got? The question is who you are, where you're from, and if you've ever sent a message or email and wish you hadn't, could get it back.
Madeline from Texas, no.
Okay. Thank you, Madeline. Anybody else? Okay, sure. Okay, well, I guess I'll go. I'm Sandhya from Houston, and definitely yes. Gotten in trouble sometimes too. So, all right. While we have you here, want to acknowledge any people that have never been to our call before. Any first-time callers here, real quick? Just say your name. We can just say hello personally to you. Anybody? Who's that? Carolyn?
Carolyn Peters.
Yes. Could you tell us how you heard about us?
I was invited by Pat McPherson. She thought it might be something I'd be interested in. I'm always asking questions.
Oh, good. Well, we hope you come back. Thank you. Thank you, Pat, for spreading the word. Okay, and what kind of app devices do you have? What kind of iOS devices do you have? Oh, well, I guess she went away. Okay. All right. Who else? Any other new people?
Hi, Candace from Virginia.
Uh-huh. And how'd you hear about us? About
I'm
iBUG?
I'm taking a Mac introductory course with Chanel and Herbie.
Ah, okay. That's a great place to hear about iBUG. Well, thank you. And what iOS devices do you have? I guess you have a Mac, obviously.
Yeah, the better question might be, what don't I have?
Ah, one
I
of
have a Mac.
those.
Yeah, I have a Mac. I have an iPad Pro. I have an iPad Mini, an iPhone, AirPods, HomePod, Apple Watch. Yeah, I've pretty much got it.
All right, good deal. You're our kind of person. Thank you for coming. All right, anybody else? New person?
Shirley from
Shirley.
Georgia.
Hi,
Sorry,
welcome. That's
I've got a
okay.
cold.
That's okay.
So I heard about you guys do a presentation at a NFB state convention.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes.
Great. Oh, okay, great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming.
Sure. And then I have a couple of iPhones and the Apple TV.
Oh, good, good. Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing and hope you feel better. Okay. Anybody else? New people?
Kathy Blake from Ohio.
Uh-huh.
Pat McPherson invited me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, thank you, Pat, again. And any kind of iToys you have, Apple devices?
I have the iPhone. I recently purchased the newest iPad Air.
Oh, okay.
With the keyboard, the smart keyboard, and I'm still learning.
All right. Good. Well, we're all still learning. Just remember that. Okay. You're okay. Wonderful to have you. Anybody else? New people?
Paige from Ohio.
Oh, wow. Okay. Welcome, Paige. Let me guess. Pat McPherson?
Yes, you're correct.
Wow, she's good. Okay, she's our recruiter. All right. And what devices do you have?
I have the SE 2020.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
Misty from New Jersey.
Hey, Misty. I know you from movie night.
Yes. And I have an iPhone, an iPad, and an iMac.
All right. Way to go. Thank you, Misty. All right. Anybody else new to this call? I know some people come to other things. Anybody new to this call? Apple Workshop.
It's Vanessa. I'm new to the call.
Yes, ma'am. And you're from?
I just moved to Georgia.
All right. Yes, I remember you. Okay. Well, welcome to you, Ms. Vanessa. And what toys do you have?
I have the iPhone 13.
Okay. Good deal. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Anybody
Heather
else? Heather's
Heather.
new. Yes. Hi. Okay.
Also for movie night.
Yes.
I have an iPhone 13.
All right. Very good. Glad to have you, Heather. Okay. Anybody else? Or we will kind of move on. Okay. Real quick.
Elizabeth from Newfoundland.
Oh, Elizabeth. All right. You're okay, I hope. Okay. You're good,
Yeah,
right?
we're
Okay.
lucky. In my area, we didn't get hit with it, so I'm very lucky.
We're very blessed. We're glad you're safe.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have an iPad, Apple iPad, and an Apple iPhone.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Well, with that, anybody else? New people? Okay. No more new people. Okay. So now we're going to. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of Apple news. iBUG news first and then Apple news. Okay, so what do we have coming up? So all times are central and all events are going to be on Zoom, the Zoom conference line that we are on right now. So that makes it simple, right? Okay, so what do we have? I'm going to try to tell you in order, and this is only what's happening this week, okay? All right, so we are here right now at the iBUG Apple Workshop for the next 2 hours. Then on Monday nights, some of you have been there, it's the iBug Buzz, and that is open Q&A about the iOS and peripherals and iPads, Apple Watches, Apple TVs, all kinds of things, anything related to iOS except for the Mac. Okay, so that's 2 hours of Q&A. First 45 minutes are for new novice users. So please, we welcome your questions and we all help each other. And if you like to share what you know, please come and share what you know. Okay, so that's on Monday night. Then on Tuesday, we have two events. We have the mini buzz on Clubhouse. So it's a 1 hour version of what I just told you about. And that will be on the Clubhouse platform from 5 to 6. Then in the evening, we have the Mac and Talk, and that will be an open Q&A about the Mac. And maybe you're wondering whether you should get one, maybe you have one, and you don't know what to do with it. All those kind of good things. We will answer those questions there on that forum from 7 to 8:30 on Zoom. Then Thursday we have It's iBugs Life. We're going to be talking about making repairs, and I think there's something about unclogging drains. I'm sure I'll have a lot to learn in that department, so definitely looking forward to that. It's all about becoming more independent and doing all these fun things that we don't want to do, right? Okay, so that's Thursday. Friday is iBug Night at the Virtual Movies, and there we watch various audio described, different genre. They can be crime, they can be thrillers, they can be comedies. We've even watched movies as old as from 1932. Yep, you do the math. I'm not known for my math skills. So that will be on Friday at 8 p.m. Central. We have a little social time prior. Do a little name that tune, have a little joke. Our actual jokester is on the call, Mr. Dana. So then we have a discussion and then trivia. So lots of different things. If you were on last night, we all had our share. It was a very moving evening. So we watched the movie Our Friend. Okay, all right, so that's movie night, and then we have iBug Unplugged on Saturday. So we have a lot going on this week. That is going to be, the topic is to be announced, but that will be at 8 p.m. on this same Zoom conference line. That's more of a way to just get to know each other. It's much more informal. Okay, so those are all the iBug announcements. We have social media. We can't live without social media. If you missed some of what I just said, or you want to know what's going on for the rest of the month, you can go to the website ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org, and get information. You can subscribe. You can register and then get all the notifications on your own. None of the services all of our services are free. No double negatives here. We want to be clear. There's no registration fee, no membership fee, and all of our training is free. So check it out. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/group/iBugToday, and you can share information there. You can like us on Facebook, and then you'll get notifications of upcoming events there as well. You can follow us on Twitter at iBugToday. We have an Instagram. We have an email, ibugtoday@gmail.com, if you want to get a hold of us that way. You can listen to all of our training sessions on various ways. You can listen on the YouTube channel, iBug Today. You can listen directly from our website, ibugtoday.org. You can follow us if you want to try the A lady, or you can try asking the S lady. I don't want to say anybody. I don't want to trigger anybody's devices right now. But there you can just ask them to play. We have all of our, the cafe, the workshop, the buzz, the Android Inside, and the Mac and Talk. All of those are available on the podcast format. Okay, so those are some of the. I forgot to mention our book club. The book club will be on October 13th, just so you get a head start. It's called Italian Lessons by Peter Pacelli, and it's DB what? 76483. It's 12 hours and 44 minutes, so you probably get started now, and we'll be ready by Thursday. Okay. All right, we got a lot of stuff done there. Now, for those are the iBug announcements, and now we're going to quickly go through the Apple News, and then. Okay, here's our Apple News. Try to go through it quickly for us today. All right. What do we have? So there is talk of testing factors for the first foldable flip phone, but it may not happen for a while. I mean, they've kind of been around. The Android people have been trying it in the technology, but Apple is just still trying to test the water, shall we say. They've got lots of patents out there and trying to see what's going to work the best. What they would probably use is called an OLED, is a flexible display material that can be folded without damaging the damage to the device, obviously. So the patents show that Apple is expecting to overcome these issues with complex hinges and display technology. Yeah, you're going to need some hinges, all right. So they're not sure what way it's going to, form factor is going to be flipping up and down or flipping from side to side like a book. So we shall see. Keep your eye on that. That's probably not going to come out until 2024. So we got some time. Okay. Next, what else do we have? Well, more news here. They'll probably use like biometric technology to kind of be able to keep the device safe. So it'll probably support MagSafe. It'll have a USB-C cable. Okay, next story. This is kind of disturbing. A secret tool lets police conduct mass surveillance using app data that they have gathered across the country. So all these police departments all over are purchasing this service called Fog Reveal. Fog, yes, Fog. And basically it uses advertising identification numbers from Starbucks and Waze, and then they compile this information and then they sell it. And the subscription is like about $7,000 a year. But law enforcement have been using this to get information, and they get all this geolocation information, and that's how they're able to track. And they're actually kind of they may be violating the Fourth Amendment because it's illegal searches in a way. So it's a very interesting issue. So just thought that was interesting to share. Next. The next item is using emoji makes you more likable. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to do that. The studies find that this was Amber, this person from Adobe. Oh, yeah, Adobe has released its 2022 emoji report. Oh, that's my kind of report. And that shows popular acceptance of emoji for communication, and it is growing. And so this study shows, it was a study of 5,000 people across the United States, and they wanted to know how Americans were using the emoji for self-expression. And it turns out that 73% of people polled who use emoji they think that people who use emoji are perceived to be friendlier, funnier, and cooler. Who knew? And 91% believe that the emojis help them express themselves much better. And it improved their mental health also. Wow. And Americans have their favorite emoji too, perhaps the least surprising. All the tears with tears, what is it? Well, I can't even say. Joy, right? Tears of smiling with tears of joy. Yeah, continues to be the favorite emoji of those in the U.S. Yeah, tears of joy. And then sometimes the other ones are the heart, the thumbs up, and rolling on the floor laughing. So there you go. You can go make some friends and be friendlier by using emoji. Okay. Let's see. Next. One more story is that pretty soon 1/4 of Apple's products are going to be made in India because currently they're mainly made in China. So that will help diversify the supply chain. So that's our Apple news. And now we're going to get to the fun part, why we are really all here. So for that, we're going to be talking about iOS 16. There are a whole lot of new features. This is the operating system that is running on our phones. Whether you've updated or not, we're going to be talking about all kinds of the new features, whether to update, all that kind of good stuff is coming up now. And to help me with this daunting task is Herbie Allen and Greg Rhodes. Gentlemen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Wow. Okay. Herbie? Okay, wow.
I think so.
Okay, I won't need you. All right, so go for it. We're going to basically be tag teaming, going through, dividing it up so you don't get tired of listening to any one of us. So we hope that this is productive. Here we go. Go, Herbie.
All right, good afternoon, everybody, or whenever you are listening to this. So let's start with the all-important question. What are the system requirements for iOS 16? And it's pretty basic. You need an iPhone 8 or above. So if you have anything below the iPhone 8 that goes from the 7 downwards, then you will not be able to upgrade to iOS 16. But if you have anything for the iPhone 8 or above, then you are going to be great to go. Now, where you will notice some differences is that some features will not work in all phones, and that is going to be based upon the feature. So for instance, anything involving LiDAR is only going to work in the 12, 13, or 14 Pro models of phone. And also we know that some voiceover functions do not necessarily work in older phone models too. So if you have an older phone, you will just have to kind of, when we talk about the features, some things may or may not work. And as we go along, any information on features regarding older phones, we will talk about. And in fact, we're going to have a very important one when it comes to some of the Siri stuff in a little bit. And so that's what I've got for system requirements. Sandhya or Greg, did you have anything additionally you wanted to mention?
We're good. I'm good.
We're good.
We're good? All right. So in that case then, I guess it will take us into the system voices. And we've got some new phones here, or some new voices actually here. And let's see, you should definitely be hearing this. Yes, you are. Good. Okay, so
Social
with iOS 16 comes a new array of voices. Again, some of these may not work in older models. It just depends.
Characters,
so I'm
braille
going
screen
to go
input.
to
ETT.
settings.
Opening settings. Portrait.
And this is the only demo I'll actually be giving today, guys. The rest of it is going to be just more talking. And what we're going to go is to our typical, after settings, accessibility, and then voiceover.
Install now. General software update. Heading. General.
Oh,
Back button.
and I've got
General.
a beta software update, but you guys may or may not have that depending on whether you're running beta. I will have to
General.
deal with
Heading.
that
Settings.
later.
Back button.
And that
Setting.
just popped up. So
personal hots. Note. Sound. Focus. General. One up. Control center. Display. Home. Accessibility. Wallpaper. Accessibility.
here we go.
Vision.
Accessibility.
Heading. Voiceover. On. Button.
And
voiceover. Speak. Tap. Double tap. Learn more. Voiceover practice.
What we're going to do now is look for speech.
Speaking rate. Speech. Button. Voice. Siri voice.
And depending on what you want to do here, you can either add additional voice options to your rotor, or you can just have one default voice. I just have the one default voice. That makes this very simple. So I'm going to double tap on what synthesizer is currently saying I'm using, which is Siri Voice 4.
Voice. English US. Heading. Agnes. Button.
Agnes, we've already had.
Alex. Button.
Alex.
Allison. Button.
Allison.
Ava. Button.
Ava. Now here is a new addition to Ava, actually.
English. Us. Heading.
So we've already had the first two Ava voices you're going to see listed here.
Download Ava. 9.9 MB. Button. Actions
so that
available.
is the standard Ava, and that is also what we would call compact.
Ava. Enhanced. Using 263.8 MB. Actions
This
available.
is, we have Ava Enhanced.
Ava Premium. Using 323 MB.
And Ava Premium. So what is the difference? Well, let's find out together, shall we? So
Ava
I'm going to double tap on Ava Enhanced.
Selected. Ava Enhanced. Using 263.8 MB.
And I'm going to now via right.
Ava Premium.
Or
using
sorry,
300.
swipe right. Wow, I'm not on the Mac. I'm on the iPhone. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. And we're going to switch to Ava Premium and just, again, doing a double tap.
Selected. Ava Premium. Using 323 megabytes.
And one of the interesting comments that some people make, and I see why they say this, is that the Ava Premium sounds a little bit more robotic. Let's see what you think.
Ava Enhanced. Using 263.8 megabytes. Download Ava 9.9 megabytes. Button.
And
Actions
I can
available.
download the Ava. We'll download the other one just to give you an idea.
61%
of what she sounds
download
like, 'cause
Ava.
It'll be a very quick download. This is the smallest Ava.
Selected. Ava. Using 16 megabytes.
So there you go.
Edit. Button. Ava Enhanced.
So I
Selected. Ava Enhanced.
Enhanced is probably still your best bet.
English.
But,
Edit. Ava. Heading. English. Back button.
Let's
English.
go to our other voices. So I'm just hitting
Selected.
the back
Ava.
button at the top of the
Enhanced.
screen.
Button. Bruce. Button.
Bruce, we
Eloquence.
have him.
Button.
Eloquence. All right. Now,
English. Us.
this is interesting because when you double tap on an Eloquence voice, it doesn't actually download. They actually come pre-installed with the phone. So I'm just going to
Eddie.
flick right.
Actions available.
So I can flick right here. I've got Eddie.
Selected. Eddie.
And there you go. It's now talking in Eloquence.
Flow. Actions available.
I can have it talk like... That's Flo. And interestingly enough, for some reason, she is set to really fast. And I did not do anything to that voice, so...
Selected. Grandma.
Now we switch to Grandma.
Grandma. Actions available. Selected. Grandma.
He's one of my favorites, but...
Read. Actions available.
And of course, the very popular...
Selected. Read. Rocco. Actions available. Selected. Rocco. Sandy. Actions available.
Selected. Shelly. Actions available. Selected. Shelly. Selected. Shelly.
So there you go. That's how you can access all your Eloquence voices if
Actions
you
available.
want
Selected.
them. The theory has been that they will process faster on the iPhone. I can't speak for older models, but on newer models like the 13, I have not noticed any difference whatsoever in how VoiceOver responds with Eloquence versus using other voices. So...
English. Back button.
It can maybe be a tad bit more responsive,
English.
but
Back button. English.
nothing that I've never really noticed a true difference. Okay.
English. Agnes. Alex. Allison. Ava. Bruce. Selected. Eloquent. Evan. Button.
Evan, that's a new one.
English. Us. Heading. Download Evan. 5.9 MB. Button. Evan. Enhanced. Using 290.9 MB. Action. Evan.
So
enhanced.
we're just going to show you the enhanced
290.9 MB.
one.
Selected. Evan. Enhanced. Using 290.9 megabytes. Download English. Edit. Button. Evan. Heading. English. Back button. English. Junior. Button. Joel. Button. Fred. Button.
So we've already had Fred. I'm kind of going backwards here just based on where the cursor puts me.
Joel. Button.
But Joel is different.
English. Us. Joel. Enhanced. Using 140.
Selected. Joel. Enhanced. Using 143.2 megabytes. Selected. English. Edit. Joel. English. Back button. English. Back button. English. Select Junior. Button. English. Us. Heading. Junior. Actions available.
Selected. Junior.
I don't remember if we've already had this voice or not because it is a variant of a Apple voice,
English.
but
Back button. English.
that's Junior.
Selected. Junior. Button.
And there we go. Okay.
Kathy. Button. Nathan. Kathy. Button.
Let's see. I forget if Kathy is new or not.
Nathan. Button.
Nathan.
Nikki. Button.
Nikki.
Noel,
We've had
button.
her. Noel. I believe she
English.
is new.
Us. Head. Noel. Enhanced. Using 100.
Selected. Noel. Enhanced. Using 146 megabytes.
So kind of a smaller version, if you can believe it or not, of Joel.
English.
So.
Edit. Noel. Heading. Noel. English. Back button. English. Junior. But. Nikki. But. Selected. Ralph. Button.
I think Ralph
English.
is
Us.
new.
Ralph. Actions available. Ralph.
Selected. Ralph. English. Ralph. English. Back button. English. Kathy. But Nathan. Nick. No. Selected. Samantha. Button. Siri. Button. Susan. Button. Tom. Button. Vicky. Button. Victoria. Button. Zoe. Button. English. Australia. Head.
And
Zoe,
I want to say Zoe
English.
is a new one as
download
well.
Zoe. Download Zoe. Enhanced. 260.
So we will see what she sounds like, and that will be it for the
14%
Voices
downloaded.
demo. And
32%
there
downloaded.
may be one or two of these voices that are new. I honestly can't remember
49%
because
downloaded. Download Zoe. Stop download.
I'm very, I don't only use really one voice, but that gives you an idea of some of the new voices you can expect in iOS 16. And just a reminder, if you have an older phone, you will have to
Zoe
look to
enhanced
see
using 312.5
what
meg.
is
Selected.
available.
Zoe enhanced. Using 312.5 megabytes.
And that is your Zoe
Download
enhanced.
English. Edit. Zoe. Heading. English. Back button.
And
English.
that is it for the voices. And I believe we are ready for our first set of questions, if we have any.
All right. Anybody have any questions so far? Just real quick, say your name, wait to be recognized. If not, we will keep moving because we got. Okay, no questions so far. Okay,
Nope.
Here we go. Okay, go back.
All right. Well, on that note, then, guys, we're going to keep things rolling right along here. And I know my other moderators are asleep, but they are so ready to get started now. And so we are now going to turn things over to Sandhya, and she's going to talk about the message features. Sandhya?
Yes, you know me. I love texting. If I could text rather than talk on the phone, I would do that. Okay, I'm one of those people. All right, so what is new in messages? Lots of stuff. Okay, first of all, you can edit a message. So if you're typing along and you send it and you're like, oh my goodness, that's messed up. I didn't mean to send that. Let me fix it. So you can fix your message up to 5 times, 5 edits in 15 minutes, within 15 minutes after sending it. But the only problem is the recipient will see what you did. We'll see all your little changes and so forth. So just be aware of that. The other new cool feature that we talked about during our icebreaker, whether you can unsend a message and wished you could, well, for those who said yes, now there is a way for you to unsend a message. You have to do it quick, though, within 2 minutes. 2 minutes after sending it, and I tried it. And so the caveat with this one is, yeah, you send it and then you unsend it, but the person who you were sent it and unsent it, they know that you sent them something, but that you took it back. So if I were on the receiving end, I'd be like, what were they trying to say and decided not to tell me? You know, that's just how I am. Inquiring minds want to know, right? So I don't know. So we'll see how that works. It is fun. It is useful. The next feature is unmarked messages. How many times have we started reading a message and then you think about it in your head? Oh, but you don't have time right now. You got to do a million other things. So you're saying, okay, I'll come back. And then 3 weeks later, there they are. And they're like, did you get my message? I'm like, oh, yes, I did, but I forgot. So this now, you can avoid that by marking a message as unread. We've seen that feature in our mail, but now you can do it with text messages. Very powerful. Then you can recover recently deleted messages. I have done this before. I've deleted a whole thread and then that thread had like all kinds. I'm a pack rat. I've got all kinds of threads going back, and I've got addresses and phone numbers and God knows what else is in there. And I deleted it, and there was no way for me to get it back. There may have been some way to go through the carrier or something, but anyway, I digress. But now you can get it back. You have 30 days, so that's pretty good. Be aware of these deadlines. Then you can also report junk mail to the carrier. That's good, so you won't keep getting bombarded by all this garbage. No, there's a new way of audio to send a message. with the audio, the button, you have to just keep swiping until you get to audio. It used to be within the text field. Now it's, you kind of keep flicking left and you'll get it to send an audio message. Another cool thing, and maybe you were aware of this, I just kind of forgot about it, but you can also send an audio message just by holding, put your cursor or whatever, put your focus into the text field of the message and hold it up to your ear. And voila, it'll go bing. And then you can start sending your audio message. And then it'll give you the option of sending it or playing it or deleting it. So very, very cool. That was probably there. It was there before, but I never used it. You can, what else can you do? You can fast forward and rewind a message. Have you ever gotten those 5-minute voice audio messages that go on, and then it's just like, oh, please, can I get to the good part? And so now you can fast forward. So I think they are answering all of my prayers here. Share Play. So you can use Share Play for synchronized activities, like you can watch a movie together, listen to music, do a workout, or play games with friends while chatting in your Messages app. Okay, so you can you can do that through Messages. You can have collaboration. You can invite people to collaborate on a document. Maybe you have a group of friends and you're working on a project, getting ready for a meeting or whatever, and you want to all be working on the same document, and now you can do that. And this is compatible with spreadsheets or with a project, and these are all compatible with the Files app, Keynote, and what else? Numbers, Pages, Notes, Reminders, and Safari, as well as some third-party apps. So definitely useful. Then you'll also get notified if somebody in the group makes a change, because that's the whole point, right? You're collaborating. So you will get a notification that they have made a change, and you can go see what it is. You can now have something called SMS Tap Back on Android, so you can react to people, your Android friends. Yes, we have Android friends. We love them too. So you can have it'll respond with a corresponding emoji. We'll have to figure out how that works. I haven't done that yet. All right, so those are some of the new features and Messages. I am super excited and can't wait to start trying all this stuff out. Greg?
All right. So there are a lot of new features in the iOS 16, and there are a lot of things that aren't quite working right yet. So keep that in mind as you go through these, try these new features. So in the Mail app, we have several new things that we can do. We can also unsend emails. And I would caution you that when you send an email, you'll get an undo button down at the bottom of your screen, close to the bottom right. And that button is only available for just a very few seconds. So if you want to unsend an email, you have to do it very quickly. We can now schedule when we send an email. If we triple tap on the send button, then we'll get some options, a few preset options, and we'll get an option to set a specific time. Unfortunately, that's one of the things that doesn't quite work yet. A few of the pickers on the date and time are not working with VoiceOver. We can set a read later notice. So if we're on a message and we flick up, we can find a read later option. It'll prompt us to when do you want to read this, and we'll set a notification to read it later. We have a follow-up option. So again, flicking up to the more option and going into more, we have an option to follow up on an email. If we get something that's important and we want to make sure that we follow up on it, that will put the email at the top of our inbox list. We have a really cool feature where if we've mentioned an attachment in our email and we send it, but we've forgotten to attach the file or whatever we wanted to attach, we'll get a prompt before it sends saying, do you want to attach something to this email? So that's real helpful. We also have a new feature where we preview, if somebody sent you a link to an article in an email, in the past, we just double click on that link and it opens the article in Safari. Well, now we have an option where we can double tap and hold on that link, and it will open the article, open a preview of the article in the Mail app. And so we can preview it and then decide if we want to open the full article. And I don't know if you guys want to break it at this point for questions, or if you want to move on to Herbie and talking about Siri.
Yeah, we're going to break right now.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so any questions for about the topics we just covered?
This is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
Hey, in the messaging app, I noticed when you delete a message, it's kind of annoying. So now there's not just a prompt on whether you want to delete or cancel that deletion, but when you do hit the delete, then there's another prompt now whether you want to report or not report the message to Apple. Is there a way that you can go in messages and sort of set that to one or the other so that it doesn't always ask you every message, do you want to report it or not report it? It's junk.
Hey, I haven't. Anybody else know the answer to that? I don't know.
This is Greg.
Uh-huh.
I think the only ones that would show up that you get that prompt on would be for messages where the sender is not on your contact list. And I think actually the junk gets reported to your carrier, not to Apple, I believe.
Well, right. But I mean, I get a lot of messages from like different news services and stuff. They send text, so there's like 90% of my messages.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So one suggestion I have, Marty, if the texts from your news service all come from the same number for each service, why not just go ahead and put it in your contacts? A, it'll make life easier on you because then you'll know it's coming from MSNBC or Fox News. And two, you won't have that report junk thing to worry about because, like, Greg said, if it's in your contacts list, you won't have to worry about that to report junk option. I will say I am a fan of the report junk option because most of the people I text I have in my contacts or I keep the messages around. And so I do get a lot of strange text messages that I am very, very happy to report as junk. So
all right, let's see if there are any other questions. Thank you, question. Thanks, Marty. Anybody else? Question? Anybody else? Okay, back to our.
This is Shri.
Oh, go ahead, Shri.
So, one question about the text messaging. Now, what is the benefit that you can edit the text message if the other person knows what the edit was?
Yeah, I know. Maybe you're just like obsessive compulsive like me. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
And one of the comments, you may have mentioned this, I wasn't sure, is for this to work, both sites have to be running iOS 16.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up. I meant to bring that up. Yes,
This is
absolutely.
Herbie.
So don't try it with anybody else or you cannot do what we just talked about. Go ahead, Herbie.
So the idea of being able to edit stuff, of course, is really not unique in terms of services allowing you to do this. It's just that it's messages has now introduced it. That's the big difference there. And because we've been able to edit tweets, for instance, and Facebook posts. Why would you want to do it? Well, let's say you notice something is misspelled after you sent it, and so you want to correct the spelling. I mean, I can think of some, or you have an extra thought that might just you think goes well within that particular message. It's people are going to use it differently, but I would say the best reason for it is if you need to make slight corrections that you notice after a message is sent.
All right. Okay. Anybody else? One more question on this topic. Anybody? Just have to unmute and say your name. Okay, I guess not. We will move along. Okay.
All right. Well, the next thing I'm going to talk about is Siri, and let's start off with the most controversial move that Apple has made regarding it. I guess I can no longer call it her, and that is the new tones that we have. What do we mean? Well, actually, I think I can let you hear this real quick. Hush up voiceover. Here you go. Okay, she doesn't want to do the ending tone. That's not the Siri tone, but they are now lower pitch, and some people describe them as a little bit more harsher. So at least though you now know who has upgraded and who has not. This is the only tones change that has been made, by the way. We do not have any new ringtones, text tones, anything like that.
Herbie, I think they also, this is Sonia, they actually, I think, also said that they did the lower tone because for people that have higher frequency hearing loss, this might be easier for them to hear. So.
Right. And we'll see. I could give you my opinions, my opinions as another time as to what they should have done, but that's a whole nother subject.
Okay, that's another show. Okay.
That's another show, but I will gladly, based on my experiences with people.
Okay.
You can increase now the Siri pause time, so wait for longer for Siri to know that you're done speaking. This can be especially done if you are a slower speaker or if you are somebody that likes to do a lot of texting with Siri, and so you can have a little bit more time to capture your thoughts. Or if you use Siri to send audio messages as well, and you want to be able to have more time. Saying "Hey Siri" to hang up and answer calls, this is one of those features that if you want to be able to use it, normally you have to have an iPhone 11 or above, but if you have Siri-enabled headphones, you can use it on older model phones. I am not somebody that uses the Hey Siri thing, and at last report I've heard this is very finicky and not reliable. I don't know if anybody else is having different results with this, and but it is one of those features that may not work correctly. And you can adjust a lot of these, by the way, in the Siri settings. So another thing that's pretty cool, Siri command guidance. So now whenever you're in an app, you can ask Siri what can it do within that app. New offline Siri options. So again, you need a phone that supports offline Siri, and I forget if the 8 supports it or not, but you can now have some more things with, such as the HomeKit, intercom, which is what you would use like with other iPhones and HomePods, and accessing your voicemail. So there you go with that. And you can skip Siri confirmation when sending dictations and text messages. So that can really come in handy and be a time saver. You can use Siri for the automatic send features and cancel a sending of a message, but you do have to be very quick. And that is pretty much it for Siri. And so with that, let us talk about dictation with Sandhya.
All right. Yes, this is related. So we will talk about this and then open it up. So what is new in dictation, you might ask? Okay, so in iOS 16, you almost don't have to speak punctuation anymore. How exciting is that? Okay, how many of us have been on a voicemail? You're leaving a voicemail message and then you're putting in periods and commas and then you're like, oh, sorry. So, well, maybe this will cure that problem. We don't have to say for period, punctuation, all that stuff anymore. And even if you try to speak with no inflection, it can figure it out. That's how smart it is. So definitely try it out. I think it will save some time. Always also good to verify what you're writing. You never know what it's doing without you, so check that out. What else can you do? Like I said, it's all based on your inflection of your voice. So that is the big story in dictation. Okay? Okay, so now, actually, what else was I supposed to tell you? This feature of dictation is only, it's best to verify what you're reading, and I thought there was a limitation on which devices it was. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Sorry about that.
Well, that's okay, Sandhya. I'm now going to move on to lock screen widgets. So this is something new that they are introducing to the iPhone. We've had this on the watch for a while, though, where you can have kind of different home screens on your lock screen. And there are some ways to enable this. The most accessible way right now is to go to settings and wallpaper, and then you can add lock screen widgets. And this is one of those features that right now works better for sighted users than it does for us voiceover users. So that is the caveat with that. And with that, why don't we get focused with Sandhya again?
Okay, focus, focus, focus. What do we can say about focus? Well, we've talked about that. It's kind of like we've described it before. It's do not disturb on steroids, right? So now you can use focus in conjunction with the lock screens that Herbie was just describing. You can have different lock screens for different focuses or foci. All right, we're going to go with foci. For example, if you are exercising, you can have a special lock screen for that. What else can you do with focus? You can have filters, so you can filter calendars and emails and messages by individual, so that's pretty useful. So maybe you only want to get contacts from your work people when you're in the work focus, that kind of thing. And so that will help deal with that. You can also schedule a focus and have the focus turn on automatically at certain times or locations while using certain apps. So I think with that, real quick, we will open it up for questions for this part, and then we'll continue. Okay, let's see. All right, anybody have a question? Say your name, please.
Dana.
Dana.
Yeah, in dictation, say you're dictating a message, did they make a change of how long you can dictate? Say you're dictating a message and like right now they only give you like 15 seconds to get in what you what you want to dictate and it cuts off. And it frustrates me so much, I have to speed up my speech.
Okay, real quick, I thought you could, okay, anybody have an answer for that? I thought you could also just hold it down and dictate. I thought that was a possibility, but we'll have to.
Yeah, if you hold down and dictate, I don't think that has a time limit. But
yeah, that doesn't have a time limit. Okay, very good. Thank you, Dana. Anybody else? Next question.
This is Sri.
Sri.
So one thing I've also noticed with dictation, now the virtual keyboard becomes live when you dictate. Obviously, it doesn't work for us because we can't hear the virtual keyboard when dictation is on. But if you do plug an external keyboard, if you're an iPhone user with an external keyboard, you can dictate and type and go back and forth.
Super cool. Okay. All right. We are going to now go on. Anybody, one more question maybe? Anybody else? Question? What we've talked about in this section. Okay.
So Greg is now going to show us, I mentioned Marty earlier being able to add somebody to his contacts, but there are some new things with contacts that Greg is going to tell us about.
All right. So we have a couple new features in contacts that are really nice. One of them is to delete a contact. We can simply double tap and hold or triple tap on that contact and just flick right to delete contact. So we no longer have to open the contact and go into edit and find the delete. Much simpler. The other thing that we have is we can merge contacts. And this is one that Apple needs to do a little work on the voiceover way to do this. But if you go into your contacts and just flick to the right to the letter, like the letter A, you're not going to hear anything about merge contacts. But then if you flick left from the letter A, then you'll hear the options to merge your contacts if you have the same, if you have duplicate contacts listed for a person. All right, you ready to move on to settings?
Yep.
Okay, settings. The one really cool feature in settings now is that if you open the settings app and you flick to the right to your Apple ID and continue flicking right a couple times, any of your connected devices, for example, in my settings, I've got my AirPods, and I'll flick to the right a few times. It'll say Greg's AirPods. I can double tap on that, and it's going to pull up all my AirPod settings. So really quick way to get to the settings for any of your connected devices. All right, that's it for settings. That's all I've got.
All right. Well, why don't we find out how we can go on a Safari now with the, because you surf the web and you use Safari, and the Beach Boys talked about a surfing Safari. So.
Right. That's the only surfing I'm going to ever do. That's for sure.
All right. I hope you know about Safari because you're telling us about it. So.
All right. Safari. So basically what we're going to be able to do is more about collaborating again. That allows you to share tabs of certain, maybe you're working on something and you want all the things relating to guide dogs or, I don't know, whatever. And so then you put all the tabs together and then your whole group can see them. You can have a home page and collaborate that way. So it's all about collaboration. Okay, go for it, Herbie.
All right, so this next one I know some people are excited about, and we're going to talk about this door detection. So I did a more in-depth demo of this on the Monday night call where we talked about iBUG. What was that, 2 weeks ago? So you can find that wherever you get your podcasts or on the iBUG Today website or on our YouTube channel. So door detection is one of those features that you do need to have a pro model of the iPhone if you want to be able to take advantage of this. So that goes no lower than the 12. And the reason for that is it uses LiDAR, which is a laser focus type camera thing. It's not a true laser, but it's a light thing that it uses. And so what this will do is, we've already for a while now, the magnifier app have had people detection. So if you enable the magnifier app with a 4-finger quadruple tap, or you can add it to your control center, you can go to settings and enable door detection. And basically it'll try to tell you if you're approaching a door, how far away it is, that type of thing. And then if you add in the image description, you can also try to have it use read signs that are in print as well. So this is one of those interesting features that people are speculating is going to work a lot better if you have glasses. And, there are the Envision glasses, but we're also hoping that Apple will come up with something too. And we'll see how that goes over time, but you can use it if you have an iPhone 12 Pro or above. And now let's go on to Sonia, who will tell us about Braille.
All right. Well, Apple is going to be supporting multi-line Braille displays. How exciting is that? One little problem, I guess you need to have a Braille display that supports multi-lines first, and then you'll be all ready to go. Good thing Apple is ahead of the curve on this one. All right, next we're going to talk about health. Health is very important, right? Okay, well, the big news here is medications. I Doubt there's anyone on this call that doesn't take some form of medication, whether it be prescribed or vitamins or whatever. So you get reminders to take your medications. You can log that you have taken a medication. I don't know what's happening to me. Sometimes I take it and then I forgot whether I took it. I was like, well, should I take it again? No, I don't want to take it again, but I don't want to not take it the first time. So anyway, this should help with that. I think we're just losing my mind slowly, or maybe it's already lost. I don't know. You can check interactions between all the drugs that you are on. So that's helpful because God forbid the pharmacist or your doctor missed it. You can go back and say, hey, my phone said you're wrong. I shouldn't be taking this. And it could save your life. So that's definitely important. You can get reminders to refill your prescriptions because, well, you can't take them if they're not there. All right, then you can scan your medications into the app with your phone, and then all the information will be there. You can even get cool stuff like just like how it works, your proper dosage, and all that kind of stuff that you're sometimes not all sure about. Let's see what else. You can share your health data with your loved one, or if you have another person that maybe you need to help them manage their medications, then that they will you can grant each other the permission to share that information. Next, cycle tracking, and we are not talking about bicycles, okay? No, this is menstrual cycles. This is to notify you of once you have logged in information about your menstrual cycle, then it'll tell you about infrequent periods or irregular or prolonged. I mean, there's all kinds of information that you can get. And you might be wondering, well, do I really need an app for that? Well, there is an app for that if you want to use it. So that's definitely useful. Okay, now after that, we're going to open it up real quick. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, who's got a question? Say your name. Anybody? Just say your name, wait to be recognized. Everybody's unmuted. I think we scared them away.
I think we've stopped the flow of
This
conversation.
is Terry.
Oh, no.
Terry Ann, go. That was bad, buddy. Go,
I didn't
Terry Ann.
hear what he said.
You don't want to know. Go ahead. Go, Terry Ann.
Not a question, but there is, and I'm drawing a blank on the name now. There is a 9-line display that's already out there, but it uses different.
The Canute,
yes,
right?
thank you. Yes,
it is super cool. Yes.
But I think that it uses different software, so that somebody said it can't work with the phone.
I think we need to realize that at least for now, the multi-line braille display is a very new thing, and Apple, I think, is just trying to get ahead of the game, so to speak. So I'd say right now this is probably not a truly, it's good that they are, and I think it's something that'll appeal to manufacturers over time. Hey, we have something to work with, but of course we need more of them developed.
There is actually Orbit Research has 2 multi-line braille displays that are due to come out in the next month or so. That exciting. Are supposed to work with your phone, and one is a 20-cell 5-line display, and one is a 40-cell 3-line display. They cost several $1,000s, but they are supposed to work with your iPhone. That's the other point I wanted to make. So in theory, it shouldn't be long before we'll able to use this function.
That is just tremendous. I'm so excited about that. Thank you, Terry Ann, for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So should we? Donna.
Okay, go ahead, Donna.
I was going to ask if in the Help app, are you able to share that
to any iPhone user, whether they be in the US or out of the country?
I would think if I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I would think it wouldn't
Okay.
matter, but I don't know. If
Okay.
anybody knows. Okay.
Eureka.
Pardon?
Yes. Who's that?
Eureka.
Eureka, go ahead.
Okay. This and when I came in, I saw that this was being recorded. Is the website we can go on to listen to that again?
Yes. We'll be going over that at the end, but it's ibugtoday.org. That's a great question because we are covering a lot of information. ibugtoday.org. It will be posted shortly. Okay? But thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Anybody else? Question?
Pat.
Yes, go ahead, Pat.
Okay, this I guess isn't totally new with this update, but in contacts, you can add a list of people, which is like a grouped email or text. I think it's just an email, maybe. But I notice when you have a list in there, it gives you an option if you're doing a new email to send it to the entire list. But when I tried to forward an email, it did not give me that option.
Oh, we'll have to investigate that. I don't know if that's new or not new. It kind of sounds like it's been there, but thank you for sharing that. Thank you. No, that's good. We'll need to be looking. We always want to send group messages, and that's kind of a challenge for right now. All right. Thank you, Pat, for bringing that up. Anybody else? New questions? We're going to move right along. Anybody else? Okay. Well, then we will.
Are you ready for maps?
Go, Greg. Yep.
Okay, the Maps app.
Maps app?
The Maps app.
Okay.
Stop it.
Okay.
Okay, there are a couple new features in the Maps app. All right, so now we can, when we're planning a trip, we can choose an option to add multiple stops. So that's neat. If you have a transit card loaded into your Wallets app, there's now integration with the Maps app, so that if you're doing a trip in the Maps app, you'll be able to see the balance on your transit card, and you'll be able to replenish funds on the transit card. And one that I didn't quite understand, but there are improved sounds and haptics on the Maps app that would show, if you're doing a walking trip, it would give you sounds and haptics for your start location. I kind of have some questions about that, but I will say that the sounds and the haptics are greatly improved. If you're looking at a map in the Maps app, you get much better feedback than you have in the past. That's it on Maps.
Okay.
Well, that's good. And now we will talk about privacy and safety. A very important issue given what we just learned about a little bit ago, how people can pay to have a lot of interesting data about you. And the interesting part is you're technically paying for it, because if you're a taxpayer and law enforcement pays for it. But anyway, that's a whole other interesting thing. So I don't know if these privacy and safety features will protect you from that, but there are some things that are designed to protect you from more immediate relationships should they become abusive or anything like that. As you can use an emergency disconnect, and you can stop all share at once or just with specific people. So this is for situations within a family group. And but this also applies to apps too. So I guess you may want to do this with the Starbucks app, because that was one of the ones that Sonia mentioned earlier in her Apple News. So there you go. If you have your own email domain, you can now manage it through iCloud Plus. You can manage previous Wi-Fi networks, and this is supposed to be in Wi-Fi. I honestly have I must admit I have not actually played with this, but you can see all the networks you've ever connected to, and you can see the passwords for that network as well. Lockdown mode. This is something that is really designed for high-profile people that may find themselves attacked with very sophisticated malware, and this extremely limits a lot of the operations of your phone. So this is something you do not want to enable unless you really have a good reason to do so, and I would say only do that if you've been advised to by a, like, say, law enforcement or something like that. So you can now add third-party two-factor identification apps such as Google and whatnot into your iCloud keychain, and that could be useful. I don't know how many of us would have to deal with that, except I can think of a situation where that really might actually come in handy. And you know what, though? These iPhones are designed to work in all types of weather, and so why don't we find out what improvements have been made to that? Sandhya, I think you are.
Yes, okay, so we have weather. It's basically, I don't know how many people are using containers, but you can use containers to get more information about the weather. You can get information about severe weather alerts. That's pretty important. Some of us, well, all of us seem to be more and more subject to crazy weather nowadays. You can also find out about the weather in a future day using the calendar app in conjunction with your weather app. Okay, so that's cool. Next, we have the camera and photos. Okay, so if text is detected in a photo, okay, so now you can flick and select, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You can translate it. So that's going to be useful. Just using the information that's in the picture. You can also, in the albums tab, you can now, if it's hidden or locked, you can unlock locked folders, and then you can unhide hidden folders, but you have to authenticate it with your passcode and so forth. Here's another very useful one. How many of us, being blind, we don't know if it's the same picture or not the same picture, right? We could have several of the same picture of your dog or whatever. I know I do. So this way you can eliminate duplicate photos. Thank goodness. That will be very useful. Coming soon, you can share your library. There's going to be all kinds of cool things about, I know there's some ability to do that already, but this is going to be a lot more, again, collaborative and enhanced and all that good stuff. So, all right, Herbie.
All right, and next up, we're going to talk about books, music, and news. So, if you use audiobooks within the Books app, there's been some redesigning with the play and speed controls button and all that. Let's talk about music real quick. So you can now favorite an artist, which will give you better suggestions. This is replacing the love button, and so you just go to the artist and you hit the favorite button, and you'll get information on when new materials out from them and whatnot. And you can now sort playlists into different categories. So maybe you want them sorted by album release date, or maybe you want them alphabetized, whatever. So there's now some automatic sorting of that. The mini player, yeah, that's been kind of reorganized, and it was not great in 16.0, and I have not looked yet to see if it's been improved. And real quickly with news, there's now a favorite section you can have on the Today tab, and you can add and remove things from the favorites. And if you want, you can have more local news, but you will need location services turned on for that to work. And you can also have a sports section now as well. And you can customize it by your favorite team and all that good stuff. And with that, well, maybe you've done some gambling on sports, and so you need to be able to. You lost, and
Well,
so.
hang on. Let's open it up real quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you. Good transition, though. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Anybody have a question? Please say your name and wait to be recognized. Covered a lot of little weird things in there. Anybody?
This is Sri.
Sri?
I just want one comment about what Greg was mentioning about the navigation. That audible alert is when you're standing and you're starting your walking navigation. If you're supposed to go west and you're facing east, you're going to get an audible alert as soon as you turn to the west to let you know you're going in the right direction.
Oh, cool. That's great.
Good. Thank you, Siri. I was
Whatever
wondering
happened to
about
the
that.
days of you just hold a compass and
Just look up at the sun.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Sri. Anybody else? Questions? And a lot of this is so new. We can't wait to try all this out. We're just trying to give you an idea of the stuff that's available. Next, nobody? I think we've... Okay. All right.
All right, so let's learn how we can split those sports debts into smaller, easier to manage payments with the pay later feature. And Greg, why don't you tell us about that?
All right, wallet. So Apple has introduced a new program, Apple Pay Later, and that allows you to break up, if you want to buy something, breaks up your payment into the cost into 4 equal payments over a 6-week period, which is real enticing to a lot of people, but you need to be careful because if you miss any of those payments, you could do serious damage to your credit score. We're also now able to add ID cards to our wallet, driver's license for most of us, ID cards. And then that will, if any other third-party apps that we're using need to verify our age or any information that would be on the ID card, then we'll be able to do that through Face ID. And we now have we have a key sharing option, which I don't believe we had before, so that for some of the auto manufacturers, and I assume this works for hotel rooms, home locks, where we can securely share our key information through text messages.
Oh.
And that's it on wallet.
All right, very good.
Move on to Spotlight search.
I was gonna add one thing about the keys. They said if you go to whatever hotel, whatever Marriott or whatever, once you're in their system, then apparently you're logged into you get your same code or something for all of them. So that could just make things simple. If you frequent, you patronize a certain chain or whatever, it might make it easier to use your keys. So.
All right.
All
right. Spotlight search. So Spotlight search, we used to do, and we still can do, a 3-finger flick down on our home screen to access Spotlight search. They've added, now we can also, if you go down to the page number at the bottom of the screen, bottom of the home, any of the home screens, you can, I believe, triple tap on that, and that will also pull up Spotlight search. But they've enhanced Spotlight search to cover broader areas. And now you can also take direct action from Spotlight, something you search for in Spotlight search. For example, if I pull up Spotlight search and type in clock, then some of the choices that I would be presented with would be start timer or set alarm, so that you can go directly to those commands. That's all I've got for Spotlight Search.
All right. Thank you, Greg. So next we have live text. Live text is Safari allows you to use to translate text in images using live text, and this can be done is available in videos and lets you copy, paste, spell, translate, and use the information for different purposes. Look up. You can even look up the information. You can use with that using that in conjunction with quick actions. You can use the data detected via live text in a single tap. For example, you can visit a detected link, translate languages, convert currency, and track your flight. Wow. Okay, well, you ready to track your flight, Herbie? Herbie?
Well, you can track my flight if I'm flying, but
Yeah, your arms get tired. Okay, go ahead.
all right. And if I flap my arms, I guess, could you track that? No.
I don't know. I don't know.
So, you can now use your passcode as a way to secure notes and just use that instead of a separate password. So that's one less thing to remember. So when you open an app, open the locked app or whatever, then it'll ask you if you want to switch to your device's passcode, and you just hit continue. You can create a link to your note and make it shareable to others so they can collaborate. And you can use your preferred medium to send the link, mail, messages, or whatever. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sonia, who will give us the miscellaneous.
Actually, we're going to open it up real quick before we go to miscellaneous.
All right.
All right. Anybody with questions? Because then we have miscellaneous, all kinds of hodgepodge of stuff. Any questions about this stuff?
This is Sri.
Sri.
Just one correction on the spotlight on the page separator is a one finger double tap.
Okay. One finger double tap. Thank you, Sri. Anybody else? Questions? Trying all this stuff out. Okay. Okay. Well, then we will go back to the miscellaneous stuff. Here we go. And we'll kind of throw all this, you guys can help me out here.
Oh, I understand you want a little help.
Oh, no help. When you go to settings now, you can get automatic software updates quicker. So it's kind of a toggle. So you can get your security responses and system files. So this ensures that your devices get immediate secure improvements more quickly than before. So that is very important. Apple Watch mirroring, that's pretty cool. I mean, sometimes we may have trouble using, maybe whatever, physical limitations or dexterity issues. You have trouble navigating your watch. Then it is mirrored on your phone, and then you can do everything that you wanted to do using your phone to control your watch. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else can you do? Controlling nearby devices. Okay, iPhone 14s and Pro models have a new startup sound. So then you would go to accessibility, audio, visual audio, turn on or turn off this startup sound. So that's really cool. In verbosity settings, there is a new flashlight notification setting. I think somebody's been listening to our calls. What do you think, Greg? I mean, because we have talked about that, accidentally leaving your flashlight on. So hopefully this will help that problem, right? So,
Yeah, that's a common issue.
yes, for those of us who can't see the flashlight, this will be very helpful. All right. Um, Next. Oh, here, this is something useful. Punctuation. Okay, maybe you don't want to hear all the commas that were in this little document. So you can control some, all, or none. Before, I mean, you could customize punctuation, but this allows you to really pick which punctuation you want. So, very cool. That's going to be very powerful, but I like commas and, but anyway, that's up to each person as to how they want to use that. Copy and paste. This might be kind of related. Okay, well, this is allows you to copy between apps. Like maybe you're in Safari and you copy something and you want to put it into another app. It will ask you for confirmation, and I think they're going to work on changing that. Have they done that yet, guys?
I think they fixed that with
Oh,
that
good.
16.02.
All right, that's another important thing. So you guys, that is out. 16 point, is it 0.2, right?
0.02.
0.02. Okay, so definitely go and get that and see. There's already been an update, and this was only out like a week, not even a week. So, so we talked about live captions, sound recognition for people who are hard of hearing issues. You can create maybe because it previously had certain sounds available, doorbells and so forth that were already pre-programmed, and now you can record your own. Maybe you have a weird kind of doorbell, or you want it to tell you when your dog is barking. I don't know, different sounds that you want to record, and then once you train it, then it will recognize those and alert you to those. So that can be very powerful. Yeah, it'll memorize and recognize it. The fitness app, we kind of talked about, well, that you could use the fitness app and collaborate and work out together. So that might be an incentive and to help everybody get healthy together. We talked about notes already. How about, Herbie, did you talk about CAPTCHA? Or did I?
We did not talk about CAPTCHA. The Apple is supposed to improve how CAPTCHA works to make it easier, where you can kind of tell it to recognize your device, and so that will help bypass CAPTCHAs. We've kind of had something like this already, where a lot of sites will let you check the box that says verify I'm not a robot, and it can see that you're using a screen reader. So Apple's just kind of trying to take this a little bit further.
Yes. Verify I'm not a robot. Yes. You can create links to your notes. I think maybe Herbie already mentioned that, and then share that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so those are the miscellaneous items. Okay, now we have bugs. Any bugs you want to talk about?
Greg, did you want to talk about the bugs?
I'll talk about one that's real annoying to me. And
right. Don't talk about me like that.
Yeah, that would be Sandia.
Whoa!
Don't
talk about her. She was nice enough to ask me. She asked if you wanted to be part of the team, and I said yes. So she's actually being nice to you.
I know.
I should be thankful. All right, so my bug, and they're supposed to fix this. There's a rumor that a big update is going to come out in October, 16.1. And they say there are rumors that they're going to fix this, but the bug is that if you're somebody that uses invert colors or smart invert, that does not work with, well, when you have voiceover and smart invert or invert colors turned on, then the app switcher goes away. So you have to turn smart invert off or classic invert off, and you have to reboot your phone, and then you can get the app switcher back. And Apple Accessibility told me about a workaround involving the back tap, but I could not get that to work. Anyway, so very annoying bug. I need my app switcher. You don't realize how important it is until it goes away.
Well, I guess my question is, if you've got voiceover, why would you need invert colors? But I don't know. I don't.
Well, yeah,
we low
that
vision people.
I don't see very much, but if I have invert colors on, then sometimes I can kind of make out just I can't read any icons or anything, but sometimes I can see some just to get orientation to the screen. And those having invert colors off, the brightness of the screen just does me in.
Well, so one workaround then is to have your brightness set to 0, and you don't have that problem, and you get your app switcher back. So it sounds like a pretty good.
I need my app switcher.
Yeah, you need your app switcher. So, like I said, you have the screen brightness set to 0. You get more battery life that way. So you get 2 for the price of 1. You get more battery life and an app switcher. So that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. But I might be biased since I've never had the ability to use eyesight with my phone, so I could have a biased opinion on that particular subject. So, some other bugs that we do know about, there's been, some braille bugs here and there. The biggest one that has definitely affected some people in iOS 16 has been the voiceover not turning on whenever you re-enable your phone after you restart it. And it's a little bit unclear as to what causes this. Some people are affected by this, some people are not. And I don't know if it matters, like if you restart your phone right away or if you wait a while. However, I think this has been fixed in subsequent updates. So, because we are at like a 16.0.1 or whatever, so I think if you update to that, then you can bypass that particular bug. Some other things that should now have been fixed is the way the notifications work and being able to clear them. That was definitely a big deal that was never addressed really during the beta cycle. Another one, I don't know if this has been fixed or not, but this was definitely an issue during beta where some apps like Zoom, for instance, would remain in earpiece mode, and the only way to get out of that is to enable wait or just enable something like Siri or play music, and that would break the spell of that. So with that, Sandhya, did you have any additional bugs?
No, can't think of any. Just checking to see if there are any other features that we want to mention. But we can open it up if we'd like and see.
Another feature I think is new is the haptic feedback on the keyboard. Is that new?
Yeah, that's new.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll bring this up on Monday night on our Monday night call, but for some reason I've lost my keyboard clicks. And I'm not that, yeah, and Apple has moved where that setting is. So, but we can talk about that on Monday night.
Oh, we can talk about it.
Right, well,
Yeah, we'll figure out that. This is more.
One other feature that I guess we could mention real quick because it involves the phone. Well, two features actually. We don't have these yet, but we should be getting them in October when the other updates to the other things like iPad and app come out. But I think this will work on the iPad as well as the Mac. The ability to use your phone as a webcam, and also the ability to transfer. Like I know it's going to work with FaceTime and I think phone calls as well. Like between devices. So those are some more things that we can look forward to as we get into October and the next big set of updates. So
There was just a lot of new features in
And just to
iOS
remind you
16.
folks, we do not do raised hands. If you have a question, wait till we open it for questions and then just say your name and wait to be acknowledged. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Oh, there are a lot of new features. It's really amazing how many features they've added in iOS 16.
There are, and this is just, I mean, we've only hit the highlights, guys. There's just a lot. I mean, what other interesting, I mean, I don't know if this would help those of us who have a little bit of vision. Maybe they're using their, I don't know if, I haven't tried this. I mean, I don't know if it would be worth it, but you can apparently take photos and take things out of photos. I mean, but I mean, apparently you can pick an object and pull it out of a picture, and I don't know. I've never done any kind of photo editing, but apparently that is a big deal. There's a lot of like corrective. It kind of helps you take better pictures. It blurs the background or blurs the foreground or whatever. Everything is blurry for me, so I guess it doesn't really matter. What other stuff? Anything else? Okay? So we could open it up and then we can see if anybody else has any.
I think that's a good idea.
Thoughts. Here we go.
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
I was going to tell Greg it's located in Settings, Sounds, and Haptics. Keyboard is where you can turn that back on.
Okay. We can talk offline. I was not seeing a keyboard clicks item, but I'll look again.
All right. So now it's open. So say your name and wait to be recognized. Who would like to go?
Dan.
Okay, Brad and then Dan.
Yeah, follow up on Greg's comment about the smart invert bug. I use smart invert a lot. And what's weird about this is it doesn't exist on all iPhones. I had a 12 Pro and I now have a 14 Pro, and both of them are afflicted with this bug. But I have a SE 2020 that I use like an iPod Touch, and my wife has a 13 Mini, and though she's not a accessibility user, I did test it on hers. Neither one of those phones have this problem. So it's a very strange issue. I too have talked to Apple accessibility about it, mostly just to get it on record. And hopefully they will get it addressed. It's very hit or miss, and there's no, they give me no explanation why it works on, why the problem exists on some phones and not others. But it's very strange, and I want my smart invert back.
So I can't help but noticing though, Brad, and I don't know if it's related or not, but the phones where you seem to have the problem with are phones that have LiDAR. Because you mentioned
True. I don't know what that would have to do with it though, but that is interesting, and I haven't checked on other phones that other people own. I've only checked on mine. What do you have, Greg?
10R. And so I
10R.
definitely do
So
not
that
have.
answers,
Don't
that
have
answers your
LiDAR.
LiDAR question right there. So, and the fact that it's on the, the SE 2020, which is, your entry level and doesn't have a lot of the features that even the 13 Mini has. So it's a strange bug. And like I said, yes, I can put on screen curtain. Yes, I can turn my brightness all the way down, and I've had to bite the bullet and just live with dark mode. But dark mode doesn't stay dark all the time. It doesn't darken a lot of apps like the Uber and Uber Eats app are not. They don't change with dark mode turned on. They stay bright white, which zaps my eyes. And yes, I can turn on screen curtain, and I do when I'm using those because it's less, and there are many other apps, but nonetheless, I want my smart invert back. So hopefully they'll get it fixed and the October will come out.
All right, well, Chili's, you wanted your baby back, and with iPhone users now with low vision, you want your smart invert back.
Smart invert. Okay, Dan, go for it, Dan.
Yeah, I have a question. What about this always on display? That's I think that's on all of the iPhone 14 models. Will VoiceOver read that?
All right.
So
Go ahead, Herbie.
that might be a good question for this Monday night because I'm going to talk about the iPhone 14 for iToys. So come back then, and by then maybe we'll have an answer for you.
Yes, good
This is Sri.
save there. Okay, Shri.
One thing I could suggest for that smart invert issue, if your issue is about closing the app, then yeah, this is a problem. But if you're just looking to go between apps, you can do a 4-finger swipe left or right to go toggle between the active apps.
Okay. All right.
Eureka.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Eureka.
I I need to go back for a little bit. So when you were talking about books.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm not sure about what this 16 upgrade because I'm about to do 16 in a little bit, but when I have purchased books in in my books app, and I thought some of them were audio, but some of them wasn't. So when I went into them, you have to swipe up to read and that kind of thing like that. Well, every time I go to read my book and go to the table of contents and then go down to a certain thing and started reading that page or whatever, when I went to go to the next page or a few pages up, after I finished reading this particular page, hey, I guess say I'm on page go to
Well,
read page
hang on,
20.
Eureka, hold on 1 second. So, this more sounds like a technical problem that you're having with the current application, and that would be a really good question for the Monday night call. That's where, right now we're just kind of reviewing the new features, and but if you have a specific question right now about your current usage of the app, then definitely come on Monday and we can help you troubleshoot why it is that's doing whatever it is that you don't want it to do. So I just wanted to save time for specific questions about the new features that are coming up. But that's a great question. That is exactly the purpose of the Monday night call, the iBUG Buzz. It's all kinds of questions, anything relating to the iPhone. So we hope that you will come back for that. Okay. All right. Anybody
This
else?
is Vincent.
Go ahead, sir.
This is concerning the app switcher. I wonder if it has to do. The SE 2020 has a home button, so I wonder if it is related to that technology that doesn't affect, is not affected by it. Number one, and then the other one, just a comment that enabling. I also have the ability to switch to use the app switcher in my iPad, but it's a 4th generation. It also has a home button, and there has not been an update released yet, I think, for the 16 iOS. So, like I said, I wonder if it is related to the somehow the bug related to the home use of home button.
This is Herbie.
And
Go ahead.
Yep.
So the answer to I can already tell you no, because out of the phones that have been mentioned, the only one that even has a home button would be the SE 2020, but all the other phones do not have a home button. So I think we can probably rule out the home button
So that's a moot point. Right. And then the other one is just a comment on the sounds. I noticed that when I enable the sounds, let's say for the door knock or the chime and all that, it warns you that the voice command "Hey Siri" will not work. So just something to consider.
1642. All right. Thank you, Vincent, for sharing that. I was actually able to find what I was looking for earlier about I was talking to you about how you could use dictation to insert emoji and automatic punctuation. So that is only available on 10S or higher. So just be aware of that. And it does include the SE series. So interesting. All right. Anybody else with a new
Heather?
Oh, go ahead, Heather.
So I wanted to ask about the bug with if you have to reboot your phone, that sometimes voiceover doesn't come on right away.
Okay.
Was there something about, someone said something about that?
Right. It's been intermittent. Has anybody heard any new
This
stuff?
is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
That issue was addressed in the 6.0.2 update. It was specifically listed in the things that were fixed in it.
All right.
So if you
For once,
update to
they fixed something with voiceover. Yeah.
Okay. Let's
For
go.
once.
if you go update to 16.2 and up, you should be
16.0.2. It's the newest one.
0.0.
If you just check for updates, it should be
Yeah,
there.
and that will be under general and then software updates. So you gotta go
And
there.
if you're not using Hey Siri, what do you use instead? Like to
you can hold the button down, the the side button, if you want to invoke Siri that way.
Oh, okay. So you can just do that. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah, great questions, Heather. We're so glad you're here. All right. Okay. Who else?
This is Carla.
Go ahead, Carla.
Just wondering, the sound recognition, I've not heard of that. Where do you find that?
I believe it's under hearing. I think that's part of hearing, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty, I think it's going to be very helpful for a lot of people. So,
Because I have a ridiculously soft doorbell, so that would be really handy.
yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. Yes. All right. Great question. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, you were talking about keys. You could add hotel keys. And well, was that under the wallet?
Yes, under wallet.
Okay. I know like Doubletree Hilton has if you're in their honors program, you can put your key in their app, but it drains your battery. So if I can put it in my wallet, then hopefully that won't drain the battery.
Yeah, you'll have to go out and tell us how it goes, okay, Pat?
Well, I won't be going out till November. But,
okay, well, we can wait. I'm not going anywhere until then either. So you're going to be our field researcher, okay?
Okay.
In addition to being our recruiter for Ohio, so thank you
I
again.
did invite quite a few people.
Thank you so much.
I think I invited some Virginia people on here.
Okay, well, we like Virginia people too, even Shree, right, Shree? Just teasing poor Shree. All right.
Let's not
You're
get
teasing
carried
about
away.
liking Shree. Wait.
I
what?
like Shree. Of course we like Shree. What, Greg?
Let's not get carried away here.
I know. Okay, I'm just being nice. Okay, anybody else? Questions? It can be about really anything we talked about today.
Brad.
Go, Brad.
Two things. First, I can't remember who was mentioned keyboard clicks. Make sure that switch on the side of your phone is flipped towards the front of the phone. So in other words,
Good point.
Mute sounds is, not turned on. The other thing is, I'm not sure if you mentioned it because I joined the call a little late. There's this really convenient feature in iOS 16 where you can ask Siri to reboot my device. Instead of having to shut your device down and then wait and then restart it, you can just, I hold down, you can do Hey Siri or however you invoke Siri, say, shut down my device or shut down this device. And Siri comes back, just to confirm you want to shut down this device. And you say, yes. And it just does it. It's nice and smooth, especially for those of us afflicted with that smart invert issue, been restarting my phone much more frequently than usual.
It's a little strong when you say afflicted.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
It fits.
It fits.
I gave that a lot of thought before choosing that
I know.
word.
I'm impressed. Okay.
It's an SAT word. I'm trying to show off.
SAT word for the day. Okay. Yeah. The other one is maudlin. If anybody can use the word maudlin by the end of the call, who knows? Okay. All right. Next. Anybody? Other questions? It can be about. Anyway, I mean, if nobody has questions, we could just say what you think you're more.
Teresa.
Okay, Teresa, go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. With the caption, do I have to set that up anywhere or? with 16.0.2? Do I have to go and set that up, or is it?
Oh, Herbie, you want to take care of that? CAPTCHAs? I think it's under security, privacy and security.
With it, yeah, the CAPTCHA is not.
Okay, if I can
that's not
find my
available
mute
yet.
button, that would help.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Go ahead, Herbie.
All right, so I didn't. So what were you
She
actually
was asking
asking
about how to activate CAPTCHA, the CAPTCHA feature.
Yeah, that's not currently. We don't have it just yet.
Oh, not available yet. I'm sorry. Premature. Okay.
Oh.
Okay,
when,
I'm sorry.
Do we know when it will be? Like, not even in 16.0.2?
Some things are still, like we talked about, some things are going to be coming soon. So we'll stay tuned.
This is Sri.
We'll wait.
Yeah, just stay tuned.
Yeah.
and,
So the CAPTCHA is there, but it's in beta format right now.
Oh, I see.
You can see.
Okay.
One thing I also want to mention is, and I'm not sure which phones support this, but you can unlock your phone on a landscape mode with Face ID.
Yes, good point.
This is Marie.
Go ahead, Marie.
I have a quick question about the Siri and the reboot. Will that just work for shutdown, or will it actually do a reboot?
Brad?
This is Sri.
Brad. I've only tried it for reboot, but I probably would work for shutdown too. You can always just try it and see.
Well, you mentioned saying, "Hey Siri, shut it down," and it did that. So I wasn't sure if it was
I
just
think the reboot thing is new.
Okay.
You may have been able to use it to shut down all along.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, any other Sri? Were you gonna?
I was just going to say it's only a soft reboot. It's not a hard reboot.
Okay.
Soft.
Good to know.
This is Vincent.
Vincent.
Yeah, question. Reset and reboot is the same thing?
Who would like to take that? Yes, sort of.
This is Brad.
Brad?
No, reset is reset your device. That's a big deal. That means wiping everything on it and making it back to factory default, I would think. That is not at all the same thing. Reboot is turn it off and restart it. In other words, restart the operating system. So.
Right. And there are different levels of reset. Like Brad said,
Correct.
The extreme is factory. They could sometimes reset your network settings and so forth. So yeah, be very, be very careful with that. Another thing we've kind of been talking about, we talked about, what devices were eligible and what would be supported and so forth. But we've talked about this on our Monday night call. Definitely make a backup of your phone before you take on this update. I mean, you may have it already on automatic backup. And we did a demo of how to activate that to make sure your iCloud is automatically backing up, or you can do a manual backup prior to this. And then you also, somebody want to talk about encrypted backups just in case, because that's also a really big feature.
So this
Go
is
ahead.
Herbie.
Yeah.
Encrypted backup is always the one that you really want to do. And that's because if you, I take that back. If you use an app like 1Password, maybe it doesn't matter as much. But if you are a keychain user, then encrypted backup is the better way to go, because that will automatically back up your keychain as well. And so you'll get your passwords transferred from one device to another. If you ever have to do, if you ever get a new phone or whatever. But also I do want to mention that if you have your automatic iCloud backup settings enabled to begin with, then you can, depending on when it last did an automatic backup, you may not even have to do anything. You might just be good to update. I will tell you truthfully, the only time I have ever had any problems with updating a phone has been with beta software. I've never had any issues with the actual iPhone software itself. So just make sure that you're on a good connection. You can run an update now. If you have 5G, you can download the update, but that may drain your battery, and it also may take longer to download. And I would just do that if you're in a stable spot, not if you're, let's say, traveling, because that could be a bit more of a problem. But it's better if you can just use Wi-Fi, and, you want to make sure that your battery is above 50%. I think that is its limit, and so you can always play it safe and just leave it on the charger. And don't try to do anything with the phone while it's doing its process. It'll take care of itself. And if you're unsure when the phone's going to restart, well, there's going to be two indicators. One, if you have it on the charger, the charging sound. And then two, VoiceOver is going to talk. So those are a couple of indicators that you'll be able to get that the phone is doing what it should be doing.
Right. And the other thing, if you're, some people are hesitant to update and think they're going to, worry about bugs and breaking, the new operating system might break something, or, that's a reasonable concern. But even if you're not quite ready to go to 16, definitely do the up to 15.7, because there were some very serious vulnerabilities. So at least update to that if you're not quite ready for 16.0.
This is Brad.
Brad.
Another comment on the encrypted backup. I've been doing them for a long time. I do them periodically just to have what it does is, and you can do this if you have a Mac or if you have a Windows computer with iTunes on it, you can do it through iTunes, which is how it used to be done on the Mac. Now it's done a little differently. But it basically makes a copy of your entire phone. And if you get a new phone, as far as what Herbie said about Keychain, I don't think that matters because Keychain's in iCloud. As long as you make sure you go into your iCloud settings and Keychain is turned on, all that stuff is synced in iCloud. So, but what it does when I set up a new phone, I find it's a lot faster than the iCloud, or I think even the holding one phone next to another. That's a pretty slow transfer. I'm able to set up a new phone in about 10 minutes. And because it backs up all your personal information, passwords, everything, you don't have to log in to anything, any of your apps, your Uber, your whatever you might have that you had signed in. You don't have to log in anymore. I know that iCloud has gotten a lot better, so I can't say for sure. But the last time I did an iCloud backup, I still had to enter a password anytime I opened an app that required a password. The one app that does not make the transition in, well, it does, but my banking app, I use Chase, and I have to enter the password and it won't let me save it. I have to enter it every time, and that's solved by deleting the app and then re-downloading it. And I'm sure Chase has a higher level of security. And the first time you open the newly downloaded app, they want you to confirm it with a one method or another, like a passcode sent to you via text message or something like that. And I'm sure that's because it's banking and they want to be extra secure. But anyway, I've also this last time, it stopped doing this for a while. It used to be when you would do an encrypted backup, your app still had to download from the App Store. But this last time I did it last week, it did not do that. While few versions ago, iTunes stopped managing your apps. And that's when you had to then download them from the App Store. But it seemed like this last time that it restored all my apps, and I did not have to wait for them to download from the App Store. So
that's huge.
It's a really nice thing. And I'm not sure, but I believe that means that if you have an app that's no longer in the App Store, you're not going to lose it. Because, in the past, if it has to download apps from the App Store, and for some reason or another, that app is no longer available, you lost it when you went to a new phone. So anyway, I like encrypted backups. I've been doing them as long as I've had an iPhone, and I've gone from an old one to a new one. It's a really good way. It's my preferred way of doing it.
All right. Good advice there. And we're basically near the end of our meeting.
This is Herbie.
Yes, go ahead.
Real quick, one other app that does not transfer data. It will transfer passwords, but that's the Bard app.
Oh, yes, for sure. All your downloaded books are gone. But you can always recover them under previously downloaded books. Okay, so with that, we are going to, I just want to thank Herbie and Greg for all of their hard work in helping us prepare this presentation. Thanks to Shri for his help today, being our bouncer. answer. And everybody, for all the good questions. We hope that you go out and try all these new features out. If you missed any portion of it, this will be uploaded to our website and other various formats that I mentioned, YouTube and the podcast app and all those good places. So check that out very soon. We will be back on Monday for iBUG Buzz 7 to 9. Then the mini buzz on Clubhouse from 5 to 6 on Tuesday. Mac and Talk on Tuesday evening from 7 to 8:30. Then Thursday is It's iBug's Life. We're going to be talking about repairing things around the house. I think specifically unclogging drains. And then Friday's iBug Night at the Virtual Movies. If you want to guess the clues, we always have fun with that at the midpoint of our Monday night call. Come for some crazy clues and even crazier prizes. So that is where you can get the early reveal if you want to know what the movie is. And then finally on Saturday night, we'll have iBug Unplugged, and the topic is to be announced. So with that, we will say goodnight, not goodnight, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is. Okay, enjoy your day, and thank you for spending your afternoon with us. Good night. Oh, goodbye.
It's Chris.
Chris, what?
So, woe is me. I only have an SE 2020. I can't do all those neat things. Like I run into doors on the door thing. I just can't. Is that modeling enough?
Will it just do? Herbie does some stuff, I think.
Is that?
You're gonna need a pro model if you want the door detection stuff.
Do I sound modeling enough?
Oh, modeling. Oh, got it. I thought you said model. I was like, what? What? Good job, Chris. Good job. Good job. Modeling.
And I haven't been drinking yet even. So there, is that enough modeling?
Who knows what will happen after we start drinking? Okay, with that, we will say goodnight. Good job. Maudlin. There you go.
Yes.
Good night. Lovingly ending the recording.
Good night.